Hi, I'm Dariel. I'm going to study medicine at Southampton University. I've always been interested to do medicine just because I've always enjoyed biology and chemistry, and there's always, they're linked with the medicine and sciences. But what I would say confirmed my desire to do medicine would have to be work experience at Lewisham Hospital, and just shadowing the doctors there was fascinating and intriguing. And just from my experience, my advice for future medical applicants is go to work experience, even if it's voluntary, because there you can really confirm your desire to go and study medicine. You have to start a couple years before. I remember even in year 11, year 12, I was looking for places to do work experience and volunteering, so that's very important. But also you have to do a lot of research. I remember just into the universities you want to go, because some do slightly different structures to the courses. And then there's also a few tests you have to do. So there's the UCAT and the BMAT. I didn't do the BMAT, so I can't say much about that, but the UCAT you have to do for pretty much every medical university. And that took a lot of time to just prepare for it, because it's like a examination 11 plus exam, but the timing is much shorter. So it was quite stressful, and you have to do a lot of practice to do that. And then the last stage for me would have to be interviews, where there you have to just practice a lot, get teachers to help you, students or fellow friends to help you as well. So it's quite a long process. You still need to get the grades of it at the end, of course. So yeah, it's quite long. I'd say the support was great. As soon as I said I wanted to do medicine, they always looked at ways to help me. So for work experience, they always looked at possible, places I could do. They gave me suggestions. There was volunteering on a Monday. They said, why don't you go help out at an elderly care home, which was very beneficial for me because I could put it in my personal statement. And then there was also a medical society, which was run every week. And just through there, we learned a lot about the medical process, how to apply, but also just wider range of medical news, just so that you know what, to keep up to date, which will be very useful when you get to the interview stage. So the main way I prepared for interviews was, well, first I wrote down typical questions they could ask you. So I researched a lot, say, what do you think about the junior doctor contract? What do you think about so-and-so? How we had an election in the time of my interviews, and I just had to research how could each party, if they came into power, how that could affect me. So I just wrote down standard answers, and I didn't try and memorize them word for word, but I tried to memorize the key points. And then with my friend, who was also applying for medicine, we did a lot of practice with one another. So I'd ask him a question, and then he'd ask me a question, and then so on. And then nearer the time to the interview, I would ask my teachers to maybe set up a panel interview, or MMI, which is a multiple station interview. And then we just go around and we just try and make it seem like it was the real thing. So near the end of the time, I asked for more support from the teachers, and they gladly helped me. So for interviews, it's just lots of practice, I'd say. My main advice would be, for me, I went to work experience that helped me confirm my desire to do medicine. So that'd be my main advice, but also you have to put a lot of work into the application process. So my personal statement, I did about 10, 15 drafts. It took forever to do. UCAT, I had to practice a lot, because it's one of those tests where there's no other way to practice but just to do the paper. And then for the interviews, you just have to practice until you get confident in yourself. Do interviews with people you don't necessarily speak to, so maybe a teacher who's maybe never taught you before, because it gives you that aspect of speaking to a random person. I enjoyed life at Sixth Form a lot. Obviously, you have to work hard to get the grades you wanted at A-level, but aside from that, in your free time, in your breaks, I enjoyed it. It was always a friendly environment there, and off the top of my head, I never had any bad experiences. It was always obviously you had to work hard, but there was still fun, and there was still stuff you could do. For example, with the school, we set up events, etc., for you to have fun. Mainly the support, because I always felt like if I was ever in struggle with, let's say, my UCAS application or medical application, you could always go to the teacher and they would always help you out. It always felt like a friendly environment, as I touched upon. So I would say there was always great support there, and they would always help you no matter what. Hopefully graduating from medical school. I mean, Seems crazy to say, 5 years I could potentially be a doctor when I still feel quite young. But yeah, if all goes well, and if I work hard, obviously, because I still have to do that, hopefully I'll be graduating and then becoming a junior doctor.